Amy and Jennifer Hood.
Hello. Dude, we've got a home crowd. This feels great.
How's it going? Hi. Has anyone seen anyone famous yet? Has anyone seen Stars? No? Yes?
Yes,
Who'd you see?
Yell names.
Rob Delaney? No? Does
TV,
anyone
you're
know
going to have to
that?
give us some context.
Someone
TV
IMDb
show?
that right
What's a
now.
TV show?
Comedian, okay.
comedian.
I saw Chris Bosch yesterday. How crazy is that? Any
This is
basketball
the
fans?
wrong crowd. Nobody here watches
No?
basketball.
Okay. The app is called the Dribbble, but interesting. But anyways. But thank you, Dribbble, for having us. Dan, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Like, I don't know where we would be without Dribbble.
Yeah, we were
Seriously.
talking to Igor and Sasha last night. We were like, imagine if Dribbble was not invented. Like, my career would be in a trash can.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But
Yeah,
so
it's
thank
nuts.
you, Dribbble, for having us. Get a load of this theater, right?
Dude, this theater's rad.
Like,
Like, it's the coolest place we've ever spoken at, by
it's
far.
definitely haunted, though.
It's huge.
Like, for sure. Like, I'm convinced there are canals under this stage, and there is a phantom waiting to, like, abduct one of you, and
If a
it's the whole
chandelier
thing.
doesn't fall in the middle of this, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I'll be disappointed for sure.
I want some Phantom of the Opera shit in here.
How many of you are from LA?
Hands?
Yeah?
Show hands?
Woo!
Woo! Locals! Dude, getting LA to people come out for things is huge, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
for
you all.
driving an hour from 2 miles away.
Yeah. We're from Orange County, which is like the less cool younger brother. It's like if LA's the Beatles, we're like the Monkees. Like,
Like just
like
trying,
trying
too
so
hard.
hard.
A little too polished.
Yeah, a little too polished,
Every
a little
hair
too
in
clean.
its place.
Yeah.
Okay, who's from the farthest? We met some people from the Ukraine yesterday. Is anyone from further away than that?
Yell it. Yell it. Anyone?
No, that's furthest.
Dude. Canada! The Arctic
Canada feels like
wastelands of
eons
Canada.
away. The wastelands.
The wastelands.
Oh my gosh. But anyways, we're excited to be here. We're Chutzpah. We started our own design agency like 7, 8 years ago now.
Yeah. And I'm Amy.
Amy has long hair. She's a short person with long hair. I am, she's a short name, I have short hair, but a very long audible list of period romance dramas. So that's how you tell the difference.
That's how you tell us apart. Those
Yeah.
are the differences.
But we started Chutzpah because pretty much no one would hire us. So not very glamorous, but we did it.
Also, shout out to Arturo. Our third design member is here. Arturo, you're here!
He's the man with the majestic hair. Just look for that.
Yeah, he's always caught in the crosshairs, or the crossfire of me and Jen. We're constantly in this power struggle for like alpha twin, and he's just like caught in the middle.
Amy's convinced I tried to eat her in the womb, but I didn't. Or at least I didn't succeed. So
She was double my size. Like, come on, that's suspicious.
But anyways, people will constantly ask us what chutzpah means. It's actually a Yiddish term. We grew up a little bit in New York, and so there's a lot of Jewish people. We thought that everyone used Yiddish terms commonly, and then we moved to California, and most people were like, what does that even mean?
So like on a scale of like,
chutzpah is like what? It means like bold, brazen,
yeah, it means
unapologetic.
like moxie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like on a scale of Toby Flenderson being 1 and Design Twitter being 10, we're like a middle. We're like a 5.
Yeah, on the chutzpah scale. We're not like completely cruel, but we're also not boring. And that was our goal.
Yeah.
Like we wanted to do work that was like exciting, but didn't like alienate anybody. So that's the story of our name. But you might know us from these avatars. Have you noticed that like conferences are so weird because you finally meet like the full body?
It's so weird. It's like you get to see the bottom 3/4. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, there's legs.
Like congratulations, you have a torso. That's amazing. You know?
Yeah.
Like
it's so weird.
yeah.
And also, like, I always try to go into every situation just being like, we're all 20% uglier than we've made everyone believe via the internet. And like, if you go in like that, I just feel like it's just a smart way to
Yeah,
go.
like let's be real, like we really look like 90% of the photos that we make everyone delete. That's what we really look like. Yeah, no, I think I've been able to recognize a few people, but for sure I post like, you know, the best looking photos of me. I'm gonna be real with it. They have all the filters on.
I feel like I always look better on video. I look better in motion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But that's kind of like this whole thing of like expectation versus reality. Like, you know, the expectation of a situation directly affects your perception of the outcome of that situation, right? So like if you go into any situation with like super high expectations, that's like a surefire way to end your night in Shattered Dreams.
Pretty much like being a Lakers fan. Every year we're like, we're gonna be the best.
We got LeBron! Give
And
us the trophy right now.
Yeah, and then everything falls apart in
Yeah.
no time. Whereas if you're a Clippers fan, you're just like, they'll probably be shitty. And then you're like, wow, they kind of impressed us, you know? So,
like all that to say, like it's better to go into a situation with zero expectations, kind of like Meg said. Like today we're all meeting like our online Twitter friends or like our design heroes, like people we've built up in our heads. We're like, we're gonna have this conversation, it's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna drop this one line about this thing she said in a podcast, and we're gonna have this amazing like moment. And it's like when you build it up like that, of course it's gonna fall short of like this crazy like idea in your head,
Right.
Instead of just like letting it pan out, letting it be what it's gonna be.
Yeah. Well, that's like why we like to watch Lifetime Christmas movies. Hear us out. They're awful.
Hear
and
me
we
out.
first started watching them just because it's fun to just hate shame them, like, it's so dumb, But then they sometimes like end up
But
surprising
then, like,
you.
yeah, they have like one like clever scene, and they're like, like that wasn't so
Yeah.
bad.
But we do the same thing with ourselves, where we expect so much of ourselves, we expect so much from our career, and then when it doesn't pan out, like we're completely like shattered, and it can kind of cripple us. So it's like we need to get better at just like letting all of ourselves be whatever kind of like naturally evolves from just like working hard. And if it doesn't exactly turn out exactly how we planned, that's not always the end of the world,
Because we let like if you let the little opportunities that kind of sneak in that you weren't really looking for, if you let those kind of take you down that path, down that side road, you're gonna be pleasantly surprised at the outcome a lot of times. But if you're like so zeroed in on like, I gotta get from A to B, like the goal is B, sometimes you miss the scenic route, you miss the fun parts.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how everyone hypes up like a TV show, and then like I just won't watch it. Like the hype's too high. So it's like when everyone's like, you gotta watch Breaking Bad. You haven't seen Breaking Bad. No, but like you gotta watch Breaking Bad. I'm like, I'm not doing it now. I'm not doing it just to spite you. Because like the hype's too high, It's why I love trash TV.
Yeah.
Give me Forensic Files every day. So Shattered Dreams.
Like so much of our success, I know, has come from like things not working out like we expected, which could have been like really like, at first it's shattering, it like crushes your hopes and everything, but then eventually you're like, you know what, this could work out. I'm gonna just keep like taking these small steps and see what happens.
Right, like if my goals when I was 14, like I know what my goals were like when I was young, right? Like you want to be like a Disney animator or whatever. If I judged my life now against like what my goals were then, I'd think I was like a huge failure. But my life actually turned out pretty cool. Like it's not that bad.
Yeah. I think one of your goals when you were younger was to marry Freddie Prinze Jr., right?
Yeah, marry Freddie Prinze Jr.
That didn't work out.
Become Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and then retire to the seaside to start a detective agency like Jessica Fletcher. That was like the long and short of it as a young 14-year-old.
Right.
But like my first career dream started, I'm gonna take you back. Let's go back in time to 2002. Jen's doing one of those Doug flashback sound effects, if you can't tell.
Do you remember Doug Nickelodeon? It's like, we're about to go back in time.
Any Doug fans? So we're going back to 2002. Okay, let's set the scene. So it's 2002. TRL with Carson Daly is like one of the hottest shows, and Nelly's Hot in Her is #1 on the charts. I'm what were we, sophomore in high school at Bowling Green, or at Greenwood High School in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Yeah,
Go
we
Gators.
spent a little time growing up in Kentucky. Bowling Green is known for the Corvette plant and the largest underground cave network. And when you mix those two things together, sometimes the cave creates this giant sinkhole that swallows the Corvette Museum. That happened.
It happened.
So
it swallowed all the Corvettes.
Yes, it swallowed all the Corvettes. But also, the largest underground cave network meant that we had our prom in a cave. How backwoods is that?
That is some redneck shit.
Yeah, but I think it's amazing. Yeah.
It was awesome. So like in high school, also, how many of you grew up in the South or the Midwest for high school? Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, Rocky, what's up? It
was just like a sea of Easter egg colored polos. Do you remember? Yeah, like everyone was wearing just like pastel polos and
like American Eagle and
New Balance.
Abercrombie.
Yeah.
That was like, but we were more like emo kids, more like rock and roll kids. So like, I wore like Goodwill T-shirts, and like my favorite CD was like Further Seems Forever, The Moon Is Down, and like my boyfriends wore girls' pants, and like, so that's where we were at this time. And so that's kind of like the time in your life when everyone starts impressing upon you, like, okay, you got to get a goal, and you got to get your dream school, and you got to get the SAT score, and then you get a 4-year degree, and then you get a career, and then yay, success, life achieved. And so for us, it was like, okay, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna go back to California or New York, somewhere cool. We're gonna go to art school. I'm gonna like date somebody that looks like Chris Carrabba, and then I'm gonna become a famous artist, and life will be grand. But things don't always pan out that way. So we moved to California in 2004. we moved in with my dad, who lived in California. We were like, okay, well, we should like go there, establish residency, you know, like figure out art schools out there and like kind of get things rolling. We were doing all the stuff you're supposed to do, you know, straight A's, like honor roll, all that crap. Got into UCSD, got some like scholarships and stuff. And it's the day before I'm supposed to start classes at UCSD, majoring in art, gonna be a painter. And then my mom calls me the day before and she's like, oh yeah, so update on that, I don't want to pay for it anymore. I was like, what? And I was at the time working at Cold Stone Creamery. So I was an assistant manager, so I was kind of like up there on the food chain, but I was still only making $7.50 an hour.
Hollering for $1, I think.
Yeah, I was still hollering for $1.
Yeah.
And
every time you put like the dollar in the chain tip thing, you had to sing for you. It was like very.
It was a very
degrading
job.
Yes.
Very degrading. And so, so I couldn't afford obviously like $10,000 in student loans per year to go to school. So I was like, okay, first detour taken. Serious hit to the ego. I'd already bought in the sweatshirt, the UCSD sweatshirt. I was wearing it everywhere, telling everyone, like, humility is not my strong suit. And so I had to like hang my head in sorrow, and I went and I applied for the junior college. I was like, okay, well, I'll do the 2-year thing, and then I'll transfer out.
And so that was like the first blow. P.S. That happened to both of us. Like we have the same exact trajectory. We are one unit. Apparently, we are not individuals. We have a hive mind. I speak in like the royal we when I talk to people. I'll be alone.
Totally, me
like,
too.
we did this and we did that. And like, who is she talking?
Who is we?
Yeah.
Who is we?
But anyways, this happened to both of us.
It's the worst when you do that on a date. You're like, yeah, we went here, we went there.
They're like, are you married?
What's happening?
Pretty
right
much.
now?
I have a twin. But yeah, so we both wanted to go to art school. Dreams shattered, and we were like, okay, we'll just go to the local community college. We'll do it for 2 years, and then we'll try and transfer out. But pretty much like we just got stuck in that community college rut. We were like a pool vacuum, just like no clear trajectory, just like wandering around, like not sure what to do. So I took one of those like career aptitude tests to try and figure out what I should be besides an artist, because like I can't be an artist, I have nothing to say. And the computer did all the beep, boop, boop, and it spit out graphic designer. And I was like, cool, computer, thank you. And
AI, baby.
AI, baby, early
Technology.
AI. And so I started taking a class in graphic design. I took one class, and then so you can see, like, already it's starting to deviate from what we thought was going to happen. Things are going wrong. We're feeling a little bit down on our luck. But then you met.
I was working at Kaylani Coffee, this coffee shop, and it was kind of like a cheers thing, where like everyone comes in, I know their name, we all commiserate on our life problems. And one of my regulars was this guy named Jason Staggs, and he was like, he saw me floundering and just like this depressed, like, you know, 20-year-old. And he's like, Amy, what are you trying to do? Let me help you. And I was like, I don't know, man, I'm studying art. My sister just took a design class, so I'm starting to do that. He's like, well, I'm a designer. I don't know if you knew this, and I have a magazine, and we're looking for 2 designers to help me like build this magazine and make ads and stuff. And basically, I could teach you all the programs, and I'd pay you. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. And he was like, do you know anyone else? And I was like, yeah, I've got the perfect person. And so me and Jen got our first design job.
We've literally had the same career path from day one. We're so creepy. But we don't share bunk beds. Many people think we share bunk beds, and we don't. We are individuals.
We're debunking myths here.
Yes, yes. But so we get this job. We get this job at this magazine. So we look up the address, he gives it to us, and we show up the first day. And we're like, this is weird. This is someone's home. And the garage door opens up, and there's like 3 desks in between like Bowflexes and like a deep freeze full of like those steaks that you buy
Like
out of a guy's
Swanson
truck.
frozen steaks.
Yeah. And we're like, this is not what I thought this would be.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. So it turns out the magazine was a coupon clipper. It wasn't really a magazine. It was the local like ad flyer thing.
It's like that magazine you never asked to get, but they just keep sending it, and you can't figure out who to call to make it stop.
Yeah. So that was the.
That's thanks to us.
Yeah. But so we got an apprenticeship. He taught us everything on the job. We stopped going to school because he was just training us there, and he was paying us to do it. We're like, this is amazing.
We felt like we were skipping a step, and we didn't even realize that we were becoming college dropouts. We're like, we're skipping a step. It's totally fine. Yeah.
It's a cheat.
It's a cheat
So
code.
we learned a lot, but I will say it was not glamorous at first. This is
This
our
is our
early
early
work. It's super beautiful.
Look at this one. It looks like it's been sitting in the sun for like 2 years.
But that's the color it started. That's crazy.
He chose
right?
those colors. It's crazy.
Go to the next one.
And we kept being like, dude, you gotta do less text. Like, imagine trying to get this approved through Facebook ads. Like, that would never happen.
But look at the one on the left. Like, what were they selling? Extra income. And then over here it says, need extra cash? You've stopped the right place. Spiderweb marketing news. What is spiderweb marketing
We
news?
were peddling some weird stuff.
Yeah, I think we probably like definitely helped tank some people's career. I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah. Obviously, it was not like what we had imagined for ourselves, but we were like, okay, we can make this, we can optimize this kind of like awful situation that we're incredibly embarrassed about.
Yeah. People are like, where are you working now? I thought you were going to UCSD. We're like, I'm in a magazine now. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
So we realized, like, on paper, the magazine seemed really exciting. It went to 150,000 high-income homes in Orange County. So we're like, hey, on paper, this looks good. Let's make a media kit that shows no of the internal pages of this coupon clipper and see if we can start interviewing local celebrities, which luckily, Southern California, they're a dime a dozen. Dennis Rodman goes to our bar, and no one cares. So we realized, okay, Buzz Aldrin's local, Ron Artesta's local, and we sent out these media kits, and they agreed to do interviews with us.
They did no research. They did none.
They didn't look up what this magazine actually was. So we started like putting in these like things to optimize this terrible job we had.
Some PR agents definitely got fired. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, because we would send them the articles afterwards, and they would actually see the reality that they had agreed to, and they're like, what have we done?
But we interviewed people like Buzz Aldrin, Dick Dale, Tiger Army, like all these really cool local celebrities, and we learned how to like optimize the situation.
Yeah. Remember you like asked Buzz Aldrin?
Oh yeah, Buzz Aldrin told me he saw some stuff he could not explain.
Out in space.
Yeah,
How crazy
so
is that?
aliens are real, people. The truth is out there. From Buzz Aldrin's mouth himself. That was supposed to be off the record, so let's keep that between you and me. But so long story short, like we did this for 3 years, and when we went in, I think we were making $10 an hour. By the time we left, of course, Jen became my boss, as usual. Jen was the art director of 3 magazines and a print studio, and I was like assistant art director, and we maxed out at $14 an hour. And we were working like 60 to 80 hour weeks. We had no life, we had no personal projects, and our portfolio was this. So then 2011 hits, and the whole print industry took a hit, and magazines were closing left and right. And surprise, surprise, our magazine folded. And so we're basically stuck out on our ear, and we're trying to find jobs. And on paper, we realize we're completely unhireable. Like, we are college dropouts. This is my portfolio. And I'm like 24 with like little to no work experience. And so like I'm not even getting callbacks. I can't even get an interview. I can't even get people to open my portfolio. So basically necessity is the mother of invention, and this is how we started Chutzpah Design. So exciting, so glamorous.
So pretty much if we can, you can too, because this is where it started. But yeah, you can see it's taken another detour. Like we were really down on ourselves, and we're like, gosh, I can't believe like we didn't do personal projects. And then we started Chutzpah, and we just started making the work that we wanted to get, and we just started blasting it out shamelessly because we realized, okay, we just need to get eyes on the job. We need to prove that we can do something other than what we have been. And it was just a great exercise in just making what we wanted to get. And so we started saying yes to anyone who would agree to hire us. Lots of friends and family projects, the ones that they tell you not to take, those were all the ones we took. And slowly just like doing right by those people who would trust us and treating it like it was our dream client, and slowly like working our way up the food chain and getting a little bit larger projects. There was a lot of saying yes to things we probably shouldn't have.
Totally.
But we did because
we
we're
just
like,
needed the
we'll
money.
research the hell out of it, we'll ask the right people, and we will figure out how to do this. And that, I think Meg even said that she's done that. I feel like a lot of conference talks go like that. Or even like the previous talker, he's like, we had no business making a film, and then look at what they made. So that's like something that anyone, like start saying yes more even to the things that scare you. Because eventually, we found that we were good at things that we never even expected that we would be doing with our life. Brand identity work, a lot of logo work that we've become known for. This is some of the stuff we worked on. We could have never seen ourselves here if we had planned it exactly how we thought it should have gone.
And we got to do what every designer dreams of doing, branding a brewery and getting to do a beer can. Yes, we did it.
But the cannabis is the new beer, isn't it? As far as like what everyone wants to brand or like do design for, that's what I think.
I don't know, just calling it right now. But we got to do a beer brand, and then we started doing fonts. So we just kept saying yes to things that we were like, I guess we can figure that out. I don't know. Like people would say, could you do this? And we're like, yeah, yeah. So Dustin Lee wrote me from Retro Supply Co. and he was like, Amy, you do a lot of lettering, and I really want us to make a font. I was like, I don't know how to make a font. He's like, okay, well, I'll hire someone to actually like make it, but you just design it, and then we can share the profits. And I was like, perfect. So I took this opportunity as a chance to learn how to do a new skill, and also like I'm getting paid for it part-time. So I'm like, again, getting paid to learn, which was awesome. And it's beneficial for him because he owns the font now. But if you guys decide to buy it, it's starting to be everywhere. You might have noticed it in Meg Lewis's slides. I'm trying to make this the new Thirsty script. I want it to be everywhere, and I want us to hate it in 10 years, okay? So everyone go home and just figure out a way, you can use Palm Canyon Drive. It's a great font. Order it through our site.
Do you have a laser pointer?
I do have a laser
That's
pointer.
amazing.
That
Looks like
right
the nuclear button, or like, you know, in Die Hard, they
Yeah.
always had like this, and this was like how they were gonna like blow up the
Nagasaki
Yokomoto building.
It was Nagasaki.
Oh, the Nagasaki building.
But yeah, so I started making fonts. And then it led to, again, this really cool thing of like, now I have 2 more fonts in the works. Beale's out now, and I've got Beverly Park in the works right now. And now this is like a great way that I'm making passive income. It's really cool, and I never in a million years thought that I would be making fonts. It felt impossible. Turns out it's really easy. Everyone go look up Glyphs app. It's awesome.
But yeah, we moved on. We've done a lot of like illustration work for companies that like we never would have thought we could have ever reached.
Yeah, friends just started reaching out, and it's really cool. If you build a really great community around yourself, like your friends will go on to do really great things, and they might bring you along for the ride. And that's been the coolest thing that we've realized in our life, is not only saying yes to things, but also just being invested in what other people are interested in and other people's careers. Because the people that we were doing mop catalogs for when we first started Chutzpah, the people that gave us our first jobs, they went on to work for people like ASICS or start their own coffee company, and they kept bringing us back because we treated that mop catalog like it was fucking Rolling Stone. Like we made it awesome. And Jen had all these like spot illustrations, and like people lost their minds over it. And so I think it's just taking every job really seriously.
Yeah.
And then we went global, baby. We started getting clients from like Sweden and France and all this stuff, and like instead of being scared of like, I don't know, like will we like misunderstand culture? Like will there be a communication barrier? We just started saying yes.
And eventually it's weird. All you have to do is get one of these logos, and then people think that you know what you're talking about.
It's not true. It's not right.
It's not always
It's
true.
not right.
It's not always right. There's probably people
And we
way more
definitely
qualified than us, but I'm really thankful that that one logo steamrolled into other work. This whole like mindset of just optimizing what wasn't exactly what we thought has led to so many great experiences. Like Creative South, we have Peter and Andrew here from Creative South, like who started that. And that was our first speaking opportunity. They invited us to speak. It was awful. We did a terrible job. We did 60 pages of notes on how we started our business. It was the most dry talk ever.
And we just read it verbatim from
just off a page. We're like, on to page 45, and everyone will turn their booklets. So it was a disaster, but then we're like, this isn't a talk. This is a book about how we started our business. So again, something we didn't set out to do, so we kind of like crystallized that down and turned it into freelance and business and stuff, which we have for sale. Come hang out later in the party thingy.
But yeah, like speaking, another thing that we were just like Meg, where we were like, we don't have anything to say. And Mike Jones was one who was like, it's your friends who will tell you what you're good at. It's your friends who will tell you how you're unique and how you can potentially unlock like a new skill or a new achievement. And so our friend, Jill Buchelman, is that you? What's up? Okay, there's a lot of Orange County people. This is awesome. So Mike Jones, back to the story. Mike Jones, who started Creative South, which is an amazing conference, he was like, you guys should talk about how you started your business. And at that point, we were only 2 years into it. And we were like, we don't know what we're doing. But we had been answering emails like almost on the weekly about like, hey, I didn't go to school either. Like, what's a great way that I can learn skills? You know, people just asking for advice on how, you know, we carved kind of a unique path. And so we realized, gosh, we know enough. And so we ended up writing the 60-page like mini ebook, and then we ended up re-releasing it recently after we got offered to teach at college. You guys were college dropouts, and they offered us a class. Like, life is crazy.
This is what they're using your art school dollars for, to hire unqualified people, apparently. No, I'm just kidding.
But that's the interesting thing about taking your own route. Like, initially it's scary, and you constantly feel like a failure when you run into your friend at the Trader Joe's, and they're like, I'm at Berkeley. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing great, you know, and you're just like, oh cool, yeah, like I work incessantly and I make $10 an hour, so. But all those little failures kind of led down this rabbit hole to, like, we got to write a book, and now we could say like we're published authors, and being asked to do that speech really helped us to look back retrospectively and quantify, you know, the wins and really how we did what we did and why.
Yeah.
So professors, we did it. So that's our book. And now we see it, it's so funny, it like pops up in my feed and people tag me on it. They'll like be at their friend's house and they'll be like, dude, they have your book on their coffee table. I'm like, that's pretty freaking cool. And we just self-published. Everyone was like, you gotta get an agent, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And we were like, oh yeah, no one's gonna buy this thing. So we just did it ourselves, and it's been so fun. But all that to say,
yeah, you definitely lose out on what could be when you fixate on what should be. That's like 100%, we've learned that. And we've definitely changed how we started looking at our goals and like what we hope for for ourselves, because there's two ways to get to any goal. So obviously we all have ideas in our minds of things that we want. We either want to work with a great client, or there's like a certain amount of money we want to make, or we want to try a new style. We all want that kind of change in those goals. We have those goals in our mind, but how we go about it can either make or break how we get there. So option one is that you can take like a million small steps to safely get to where you want to go, and each step you're kind of just going in a general direction. You know that it's not like exactly what your goal is, but you're kind of like, okay, this is at least I'm moving forward, right? I'm gathering momentum. And you kind of work out, maybe you hedge your bets and you try a few different things, and maybe like you leave some options by the wayside. But by taking this kind of like success by a million steps approach, it's so much safer, there's so much less risk, because you're just saying yes to little opportunities instead of waiting for one giant perfect opportunity to get exactly what you want. So like if you keep going, like you'll see, like you're slowly by working for a small startup here or a small client there, and then building whatever, you can even uncover like unexpected achievements you didn't even know that you could get, that maybe aren't your exact goal but ended up being what you really needed. So that's one way that's super safe. It's how we've ended up kind of reaching a lot of the things we wanted to do, as opposed to the second option, which is just sit around and wait for life to just hand you exactly what you're looking for, which is never going to happen. Let's be real.
It's like that happens like in 0.0001% of like all circumstances.
And you're just collecting dust and feeling really like ill-used because it's not exactly what you want. So yeah. It's kind of like the difference between, they say death by 1,000 paper cuts. Success is the same way. Success comes by a million little steps. It's never like one giant leap that just like lands and is perfectly easy. That's just not how it works. Or it's just very rare that it works that way. And the risk is so much higher.
And the cool thing about these little steps, like when we look back on our life, we're like, wow, like at the time, that little step felt like a huge failure. Like that felt like a step backwards. But now I look and I see that it was actually a step forwards, just in a different direction that I hadn't anticipated. And so that's why it was kind of cool, like all these failures kind of like humble you a little bit. It's like you need that healthy ego to start things, but then it's kind of nice to get those things that humble you, because then you're back to your zero expectations. Instead of being like, I'm fucking awesome, like if I don't get hired by Facebook, they're dumb. Like, like if you have that expectation, like of course you're gonna be disappointed with what happens in your life. You're not leaving room for like the what ifs. So when we started having zero expectations of like, oh, I'm probably not gonna be a famous painter, I guess I'll just like, we'll take on this client, like we need the work, like it's not like super exciting, but like we can make something awesome out of it. And then those kind of things always end up surprising us.
So kind of like wrapped up into a little actionable set of like how to get somewhere new if you want to try new things, or if you have a goal in mind. First of all, definitely always like verbalize and write down what you want out of life. It's so easy to just kind of like let life happen to you. So definitely write down the things you want. Now be aware that that might not be actually what you get in the end, but write it down and then start telling people.
Because like we just recently moved and we found all of our old chutzpah yearly goals. It was like 2014, what we wanted to make, what kind of clients we wanted to get, like the different industries we wanted to break into. And it was really cool being able to look back retrospectively and see like what worked and what didn't, and being like, oh my gosh, we wanted to like do that. I'm so glad that didn't work out,
Yeah.
And I think number two, like when we taught our class professional practices at Laguna College of Art and Design, we were constantly trying to impress upon our seniors this like fact, like just start. They were constantly saying like, ooh, like my portfolio's not good enough, like I don't wanna go do the portfolio review, like my portfolio's not ready. Or like I'm not gonna publish my site yet because like I still need to tweak a couple things. Or like I don't really want that job. We were constantly trying to hook them up with like local jobs. They're like, I don't really think so. I'm like, do you know how many seniors that are graduated would love to have a job lined up? Like, how dare you? So it was really, and I would like, listen, just trust me on this one, start anywhere. Like it may not sound glamorous, but like if you're at least making forward momentum, like that's when you can make turns. You can't make turns in life if you're sitting still parked.
So true. Let's see. Oh, involve everyone. This is huge. Like if you're just making personal work for you, you want to get more into illustration, but it's all in your notebook and it's hidden from the world, no one's gonna know. So you have to let people help you. Like we all have that friend who loves to like hook things up. They're like, oh, I know a guy and so can get you this and it's really good shit. So if you—
Are you talking about drug deals? What are you talking about?
I'm not talking about drugs at all. I'm talking about jobs. Anyways, no, but seriously, like we all know like friends who want to help us out. So if we start showing them what we're doing, as we're working on these new skills or these new ideas, they can help you find that next route that you didn't know was the next step to get to where you want to go. So just tell everyone, if you don't think it's good enough to post to your feed, just post it to your story. It'll be gone in 24 hours.
And then hashtag it work in progress. Like,
Yeah.
it's a cop-out. It's such a cop-out. Be like,
Yeah.
it wasn't done yet. It wasn't
Just
done
hashtag
yet.
work in progress and anything flies. It's
Anything
good.
flies.
Yeah. What's
And
next?
there's something really important about learning how to make the ask. Now, there's the wrong way to ask. Like, we get a lot of emails where they're like, hey, what's up? Can you send me your price list? Like, I'm starting a design agency and I want to know what you're doing. And I'm like, no. I have a book. You can buy the book. It's $20. They're like, I can't really afford that right now. I'm like, if you can't afford $20, you're doing something so much more wrong than I can even explain in this paragraph. But people will sometimes just straight out like ask for the farm. It's like you have to know how to ask and like give in return, you know? So it's like find people that you can ask little things of and be like, hey, like I have this idea, like what do you think? Or like I was thinking about charging this, what do you think? Like we started going to Dribbble and Twitter meetups when we were younger, and we would tell like these people that were like amazing designers, like Joel Buchelman. We'd be like, oh yeah, we're charging like $150 for logos and unlimited rounds of revisions. What do you think about that? And everyone was like, no, what are you doing? And that's how we learned. That's how we got better, and that's how, you know, we became more well-rounded, is by just talking it out. Also, I feel like it's really important to test everything and be retrospective, to look back, to set goals, and then look back and see how things worked. So like Jen and I constantly run our profit loss statements. We're constantly trying to see if we're on track for our yearly goal as far as money, and we're constantly trying to see like, hey, are we getting a lot of no's on our new price? Like we just upped our price for like general branding for a mid-level company. Like are we getting mostly no's? I think we maybe overshot that, you know? So just constantly trying to figure out what works. And you know, it's like, is it time to like, you know, our font's not doing well for us anymore? Is it time to find a new thing? Constantly figuring out what's working.
And then celebrate your small wins. This is the easiest way to like enjoy the process of getting somewhere. If you're just waiting for that like finish, you know, photo finish and the checkered flags and sports
Confetti Kennedy.
Then you're
yeah.
always going to be like disappointed because that's such a long, distant goal, which might not even happen at the end of the day. So learn to celebrate small wins, and you'll at least enjoy the process. And even if you don't end up at that final goal that you had imagined in the beginning, you'll be able to like have an enjoyable experience along the way. You know,
Even if you don't end up Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You got
Married
to talk
to
on a
Freddie Prinze
stage,
Jr.
married to Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
You got to talk on this awesome stage, haunted by ghosts. That's a win. That's a win in my book. So thank you guys so much for having us.
Yeah.
We're gonna be hanging out after, and we'd love to meet you and say hi. We wore really like loud, obnoxious patterns so you could find us easily.